Okay, so let's go to the third out here. Um, so again, it's kind of on theme with what we're talking about today. With just like no teams really running away with anything. We talked a little bit about how the NL East has been fairly bad, right? Outside of really where the Phillies are, the Phillies are 69 and 49. The rest of the NL East is a bit in rough shape as far as the Braves, the Mets, just kind of glazing over 500. Um, but we haven't really discussed what we think the best division in baseball is. So, Dalton, I'm going to give you the first crack. What right now? It is August 12th. What's the best division in baseball?
It's the National League West. I truly think it is because I think right now three of the four top teams in the National League are in the West. Like I think the Dodgers, Padres, and Diamondbacks. The only team that belongs in their class right now in the league is the Phillies. Like I don't think Milwaukee is in that class. I know their record is good, but I'm not buying Milwaukee's roster at all, and I actually think the Dodgers are going to beat up on them a bit the next couple days. And Atlanta is a mess. And other than that, it's just a whole bunch of mediocre. I even think right now, with the depth that has steadily been built in the Giants rotation, I think I like the Giants better than most of these other wild card teams right now, too. Partially because they've got a ridiculously easy schedule left, but also because I think Webb, Snell, and Robbie Ray at the top of that rotation, is actually pretty damn good. And nobody's really talking about the fact that like Birdsong, like Hunter Birdsong, actually looks pretty okay. Kyle Harrison has started to turn the corner and look pretty decent. Like I think this is a team with pretty deep pitching.
Yeah.
And if the lineup can perform even just okay, like you look at what's coming up for that team, they still right now they're playing Atlanta, who hadn't looked that great. They're coming into this series off of 3 straight series wins, and then they go play Oakland, and then they play the White Sox. I mean, like this is a team that if they can stay hot, is right there in it as well. So I think the NL right now, the NL West has three borderline sure playoff teams, and one playoff team that I think has just as good of a chance as almost anybody to grab one of the wild card spots. And
Yep.
so the only other division that I could see making an argument for right now is the AL East, and I have a feeling that's what you're going to do. But I think that like the midsection of the NL West is better than the midsection of the AL East.
No, I agree. I think it's the NL West too. And really, like as much as I would like to say the AL East, right? Because I think the AL East for a lot of, my childhood was the best division in baseball, right? Because it just seemed like everybody was good at the same time. Peak Yankees, peak Red Sox, they were peak Blue Jays. I mean, there were some really good teams when I was growing up. But I agree with you. I think like the fact that the AL East has the Orioles and the Yankees, who I think are probably the two best teams in the American League at the top of their division, then yeah, like that gives it a little bit of oomph. But like the Blue Jays aren't any good. The Rays are fine, but they sold half their team at the deadline. Like they're not really competitive anymore. Well, I shouldn't say they're not competitive, but they're not competing for a playoff spot anymore. And the Red Sox are a team that is fighting for a wild card spot. Like they're decent. I think in the National League West, you have, like I said, like I'm very bullish on the Dodgers. A healthy Dodgers team, I'm very, very bullish on. Like they have the Dodgers at the top of that division. The Diamondbacks and the Padres, I think, are both better than almost any team in the American League outside of the Orioles, the Yankees, and the Guardians. Like I think, and I'm not certain that they're better than that they're not better than the Guardians. Like even without as good as they've been, I don't know that they're better than that. Like if you were to ask me today who I would take between the Diamondbacks, like if I would take the Diamondbacks and the Padres over the Astros today, I think I would. Like I just kind of feel that way. You know what I mean? So I don't disagree with you. Like obviously the Rockies suck more than the Blue Jays suck, but like that's not really a measure of it. And that's the thing is like the Red Sox, the Red Sox and the Giants to me are very similar as far as their standing right now in each league. So I agree with you. I think the Dodgers are a for sure playoff team. I think the Diamondbacks and the Padres, I feel very confidently about that they're going to get in. And in the American League, like, yeah, the Orioles and the Yankees are both going to make the playoffs. The Red Sox could, like, where are the Red Sox right now in the American League wild card? They're 3 games back of a wild card spot at the moment. And by the way, I'll even say this: that's a pretty steep hill to climb. Like, 3 games back is not a ton, but you're looking at like one of the Orioles and the Yankees are going to claim one of those spots. Then you have the Twins, the Royals, the Mariners. Like, yeah, like I don't know that the Red Sox are better than either one of those 3 teams. I really don't.
Yeah,
So
the Red Sox feel to me like a team that's a year away at this
yeah,
point. Like, I mean, when they're hot, they're pretty good. But I think right now, to your point about like where the Diamondbacks and Padres are, like you look at just over the last month, the Padres swept Baltimore on the road, took 2 out of 3 in Cleveland on the road. The Diamondbacks swept Cleveland on the road. Like when the top of the NL West and the top of the AL have met, the NL West teams have taken a solid bite out of them, especially
yeah,
recently. So I think that speaks to your point.
yeah. By the way, I have never met, and I don't know very many Dodger fans. I'll just be straight up, right? I have never seen or heard of any Dodger fan that is more bullish on the San Diego Padres than you. Man, oh man.
I mean, I just think that like, look, part of it is that I'm bracing for a reality that I feel like could be coming. Um, and it's not a
Yeah,
long term reality. Like the Dodgers' outlook beyond this season is like running laps around the Padres' outlook beyond this season. But for this season, I don't want to run into the Padres in the playoffs. Like with that bullpen, if they're like, if
yeah,
like, I'll put it this way: if you get into a playoff series with San Diego and you're in a short series where you have to face Dylan Cease, Michael King, and some combination of Matt Waldron or Joe Musgrove or Yu Darvish, whoever happens to be pitching best. And those pitchers know that they really only have to give them 5 or 6 innings, and then they've got just shut down arm after shut down arm. That's a tough team to deal with in a short series format. It's
yeah,
part of why, on this show I talked about buying the Padres when they were 30-1 to win the World Series, right? Buying the Padres when they were 23-1 to win the NL West. What this team has done is they've built something that can shorten games. And it's not like they're scrappy like those Royals teams were. Like they're just damn good. And
yeah,
so, yeah, I mean, look, if you told me that the Dodgers were going to get only healthier the rest of the season, I would pick the Dodgers to win the division. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if the Dodgers are what they can be, they are the better of the two like rosters.
yeah.
I just don't believe that right now of the Dodgers.
Mm. So I want to point this out also because I feel like we don't really talk about him enough. As much as we talk about the Padres, we don't really talk about him enough. How good is Jackson Merrill? That kid
Oh,
can
God.
really play, dude. That kid's really good. Oh
You
my
know, it's funny.
god.
One of the guys over at Action Network, Sean Zarillo, he is an awesome baseball analyst over there. He gave out Jackson Merrill at 5-1 to win the MVP today. And like, it's a really interesting thing if you think about it, because Paul Skeens has started to lose a little bit off his fastball. Like it seems like he's starting to fatigue a little bit.
Mhm.
By the way, the Dodgers own Paul Skeens. He's given up 2 or more runs twice, and I think his last 12 starts, both times the Dodgers. So
Wow.
for whatever reason, the Dodgers own Paul Skeens, specifically guys. I'm mostly joking, but Paul Skeens has lost a little bit off his fastball lately. I think like
Sure.
this is where young pitchers, especially rookies who are just in college, you start to see that arm tire a little bit, and you
Yeah.
know that as they fall further out of the race, they're going to be more careful with him.
Yeah.
And Jackson Merrill has been one of the best players in baseball over the last couple months. Like there's a real argument to be made that he could steal Rookie of the Year from Paul Skeens down the stretch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of frightening. So his OPS in August right now, it's granted it's 9 games, it's 1239.
Yeah.
It's just frightening and it's been remarkable how consistent he is as a rookie. Like he had a bit of a rough month in July, but boo-hoo, he's a rookie and he had a rough July. Everybody has a rough July. Like
Yeah.
it's just like that's the month where everybody plays like shit. So like
I,
can you really
remember watching him in Seoul in that Dodgers Padres series in March and being like, whoa, this kid can play.
Yeah, he can really play. They definitely have a player with him.